Do you have unanswered questions about what it's like to evict a tenant in a property that you own as an investment? Well, in this video, we're going to talk about the actual costs associated with filing the legal fees, how long it can take, the repairs associated with a property, the missed opportunity costs of missed rent. Yes, you still have to pay your mortgage. So if you're interested in having these questions answered for yourself, then stay tuned to this video because I'm going to be using a real life example of an eviction that I just finished processing and sharing with you the very specific details about every cost involved, the stress, everything that went into it. I'm going to be breaking it down on a spreadsheet for you so you can follow along with the numbers. So the background on this property, I just closed on it about 4 months ago, and on one side of the duplex, it's a duplex, I had to evict one of the tenants. Now I'm going to explain to you why and what happened by starting with some texts from my property manager that began 1 month after I closed on the property. Make sure you watch this video all the way to the end. Don't be a pansy. So here's the text from my property manager. 705 East 14th has not yet paid. I spoke with Mike, the guy that lives there. He's on house arrest in Illinois. So my tenant is on house arrest in Illinois at his mama's house, not even at my property. My property is in Indiana, a neighboring state. He's on house arrest in Illinois, I think at his mom's place. He asked about getting out of the lease. I told him we would have to pay for whatever day he is there through, and that he has to pay an early termination fee and lose his deposit. Plus, I would charge him for whatever damage is done to the property. He told me that he would let me know Friday. He said if he decides to stay, he will pay it on Friday. If he decides to go, I was thinking I might go ahead and file an eviction on him so that he doesn't hold your property hostage while I am waiting on him getting back his stuff out. Plus, I may need to file it anyway to get back rent, early termination fee, and any damage. The court fees here are $660. What do you think? That's what she sends to me. So again, I just purchased this property in November. December comes, the tenant has not paid. I get this text on January 19th, so 6 weeks at this point of not getting any rent. So that's why she's saying she's going to keep the security deposit. Not because, hey, I can't pay my rent, I want to move out, and can I get all my stuff back? No, this was, you've already missed 6 weeks worth of rent, or a month and a half worth of rent. He hadn't paid December's or January's at that point. And so she was saying, well, we're going to keep your deposit, and we'll have to charge you through whatever day you're there through. You know, if you're going to stay through February, through halfway through February, you're going to get charged for those days. There's your background. My response, well, if he decides to stay and pay, obviously, let's try to make that work. If not, what do you think the unit would rent for? I know that the previous owner, prior to selling it to me, had put the unit, had rented it for $800 a month. But I thought it would probably rent for more than that. I'm just trying to figure out exactly how much the unit's going to rent for moving forward. If he does decide to leave and you think filing an eviction is the best course of action, then I would say go for it, unless you think he would be receptive to the idea of leaving peacefully and quickly and an offer of, we will keep your security deposit, but you won't be charged for the month-to-month rent you didn't pay, so long as you get all of your things out within X number of days, 5 days, 10 days. So right off the bat, I am already trying to make this as much of a peaceful and timely transition as humanly possible. I want to get him out as quickly as possible. So hey, look man, we're going to keep your security deposit, but I won't charge you for all of the rent that you've missed up until this point. 6 weeks, a month and a half worth of rent, you will get clear, scot-free. All you have to do is get all of your stuff out within 5 days or within 10 days, whatever she thought was reasonable. That was my goal. Let's just get him out. Let's skip the court. Let's skip all the hassle, all the fees, all that. Let's just get him out of here. Try to help him out. Try to help us out. That was my approach. My property manager responds by saying, I was planning on waiting until he lets me know Friday. I already posted a 10-day notice on him to evict, which I'm required to do by state law. His 10 days are up on Monday, so depending on how cooperative he is, I would like to try to have him leave quickly. If I file Tuesday, it could be another 2 weeks, which would put him into February. I will see if he is willing to be quick about moving out, and maybe we can bypass that altogether. Okay, so another week goes by, and my property manager sends me this. Mike, the tenant 705, said he would have the rent by last Friday. I've been calling him, emailing him, and tried his house. No answer at all now. His eviction notice that I'm required to give him was up on Monday. I'm going to file with the attorney. Just wanted to give you a heads up. The attorney charges $560, and my property manager charges me $25 to represent you in court. Again, you may be looking at those numbers and baffled at how unbelievably inexpensive it is, because here in Washington, I can assure you it's not that cheap to get an attorney and have someone represent you in court. God bless Indiana for their lower prices. So again, the psychology behind what's going on in the tenant's mind right here. Hey man, we're trying to help you out. We've made you a very competitive offer. We won't charge you anything. We're going to keep your security deposit, but we're not going to charge you anything. All you have to do is just come get your stuff, sign off that you're leaving, and we'll be done with it. We'll just call it even, call it square. That's about as good a deal as you can get. The man's on house arrest in another state at his mom's house. He owes, at this point, it's going to be coming up on 2 months worth of rent. And whatever damages to the property there are, whatever issues there could be with the property, he's going to have to owe all of this. And we're saying, that's fine, just come get your stuff and leave. We're going to keep the security deposit to cover the cost of repairs and some of the damages. But that's it. You're on your, all you got to do is just handle this and then you can get out of here. All right, so from my property manager, she says, so Kurt stopped by 705, the property I'm doing an eviction on. We do that a couple of times a week once we file for an eviction. Can't have a house unsecured. He said it has water spraying out of a connection for the hose. Couldn't get a hold of the tenant. He's not responding to calls or texts anymore. Kurt came, got the keys, went inside because it's an exigent emergency situation. There's actively water spraying out of the house. We have to fix that problem, make sure it's not being destroyed even more on the inside. He went inside and he said the electricity is off there. Big surprise, they're not paying their electric bill. And there's stuff everywhere. He took a couple of pictures while he was in there, and then he's going to send them to my property manager, who'll send them to me. He shut off the water there with a note posted that we went in and shut the water off on the inside. I would recommend us going on ahead and getting the gas and electric on so pipes don't freeze. We don't normally do that until the eviction court date or if we get a confirmation that they're out, but I don't have either right now. So again, we're trying to take preemptive measures here to try to keep the property in as good a condition as possible. It's very cold in the Midwest in the winter. We don't want everything to freeze, burst, pop, and explode and ruin the property, much like we're already seeing happen with one of those hose spigots spouting water out. All right, so here comes my response from my property manager when we actually went to court. 7:05 court was yesterday and have the court paperwork for eviction. Gas and electric is on. Kurt met a contractor over there yesterday to go over what was needed to be done. He said that it would give us a bid tonight. It's not a lot that needs to be done. Basic cleanup inside and outside, touch up some paint, a few outlets that have shorts, and that's that. Okay, so I get this estimate from my property manager about what the actual costs to repair the property are going to be. I'm going to have to replace the hose spigot. It's frozen and bursted. Change the bedroom carpet. Smells really bad like a dog. Toilet seat needs to be replaced. A little bit of painting. Remove all the junk. Clean inside the house, backyard. Electric. 5 open grounds. I assume outlets that weren't wired properly. Hall upstairs needs a new light cover. Other than that, it looks pretty good. This was a brand new remodeled unit when the tenant moved in October. And in the couple months that he was there, / not living there because he's on house arrest in Illinois, it needs all of this repairs. So we finally get one more correspondence from the tenant at 7:05, 3 weeks after the eviction has actually gone through. At this point, we're just trying to get the place repaired. And he says, FYI, earlier today, our tenant at 7:05 said that he wanted to meet Kurt at the house to pick up some things that he left. I told him that I could let him come get what he needs out, but he has to bring me some money. And he said he would go and get me $1,000. So we're still waiting on him to see. So my property manager says, look, at this point you owe 4 months worth of missed rent, all of the damages, plus the court fees, plus the eviction fees and everything like that. So if you want to come get some stuff out of your house, that's fine, but you need to at least bring some money to pay some of the stuff back. He said to her, I'll bring $1,000 and I'll meet you there. Of course, that never happened, and then they never heard from him again. So that's the end of the back and forth, the drama, the background, the backstory of the tenant, the property, what was going on, what was happening, and how much we tried to help the guy out. As you may have noted, not only did I say, I don't want to do an eviction, I'd rather he just get caught up on rent. Let's try to figure out how to help him out. Okay, fine, he's going to get evicted. Let's just offer to forgive his missed rent. We're going to keep the security deposit. He's going to go a separate way. We'll go our separate way. No responses, wouldn't talk to us, wouldn't communicate, wouldn't do anything to help himself. So at some point, all right, fine, well, we're going to have to file an eviction now so we can actually go in there legally and get everything out. While we go by the property, he'd already shut electric off, wasn't paying for that either. Great, now the property's in disrepair because one of the exterior pipes in the house burst and is spraying water. Kurt goes inside, take a look at the property. Of course, it's got a whole bunch of issues with it. Unfortunately, this is pretty common. The types of people who get evicted are not the types of people who take care of property. So we go in there, there's a whole bunch of repairs. We finally get the eviction processed. We get the order from the judge. They go in there, they're getting it cleaned out, they're getting it repaired, they're getting everything taken care of. And the tenant finally messaged back and says, hey, can I go in there and get some stuff that I left? Sure, we'll work with you. We won't just say pound sand, kick rocks, whatever. But of the thousands of dollars that we're losing out on and having to spend to repair this, if you want to come get whatever stuff he left, then you need to bring some money here and make good on an agreement that you signed. And he says, no problem, I'll go get $1,000. I'll bring it to you so I can come in there. We never hear from him again. His choice, not ours. We're being more than reasonable, more than accommodating to him. It's not my fault that he got arrested and is on house arrest in another state. I don't know what the crime is for. I have no idea. But at the end of the day, that's a situation that he got himself into, that I did nothing for, and I did everything I could to try to be amicable and helpful to him, and he refused. So it is what it is. Now let's talk about the actual costs associated with it. So I'm going to go ahead and jump over down here on my screen. And you can see right here, the legal fees, $550. Vicky, my property manager, representing me in court, $25. To this day, I can't even, it's unfathomable at how inexpensive that is. I mean, here in Washington, these first two costs would be like $3,000 and $1,500 for something like this. I mean, it'd just be unbelievable in Washington to deal with this. Now from here, we get into the materials costs and the labor costs and everything else. So here we've got to change the locks, materials, $85 for all the brand new locks. Then there's the actual cost of paying the person to get in there and change it, shut off the water, shut off the main breaker, house evaluation. Some of this is my property manager going out there and taking a look at it. $125. Change the carpet, the outlets, the toilet seats, materials, $193. Kitchen faucet, haul off all the extra garbage and debris that was left all over the house, $88. $150. A gallon of paint, 25 bucks. PVC supplies, PVC elbow and PVC tees, $12, $14. Touch up the paint, clean out the house, haul away garbage, install carpet, install the kitchen faucet, repair a couple of outlets, so the labor cost, 650 bucks. Clean the house, 250 bucks. So after all of these costs right here, you can see down here on the total that we have a total of $2,169.53. Frustrating, right? Frustrating, completely unnecessary. None of this had to happen. We wanted to keep him here. Now, this isn't the true cost of turning this property. This is just where we get started. This is just what it costs to buy the materials, install them. Now let's talk about opportunity costs. I'm going to jump over on another document here. All right, now you have to forgive the crude table that I made here, but at the very top cost right here, you can see repairs and legal. So I have that same $2,169 amount right here, and that's where we're going to start. Now from there, did I get paid the rent in December? No, I did not. Did I get paid the rent for January? No, I did not. Did I get paid the rent for February or March? No, I did not. So right there, you've got another 4 months at $850 a month, which is what he was supposed to be paying. I didn't get paid. All of that is missed opportunities in making money. It's money that I lost out on. Now, unfortunately, I can't write any of that off as a tax deduction. So that's frustrating, right? The first amount, the legal fees and repairs, that can all be written off on my income at the end of the year in taxes. But not getting paid rent cannot. I just have to eat that. So then you see 50% of April. Well, I'm hoping my property manager can actually get the new tenant in there by April 1st. This is my optimistic goal. The repairs were all finalized. The property was ready to be rented again on March 8th. The eviction itself was done February 28th. So this is me hoping that in a 3.5 week time frame, my property manager can get it advertised, listed, and rented in just 3 weeks at that higher dollar value amount of $1,000 a month that I'm hoping to get it rented for. So this is pretty optimistic. Realistically, I might have another month of rent in there where I don't actually get paid, which will suck, but for this video, I'm just being as optimistic as possible. So that actually may be more expensive. If I actually get the property listed, I have to pay 50% of the first month's worth of rent to my property manager. That's her fee for getting it listed, showing it, and getting a document, a lease signed to the tenant. So the last thing we talk about, intangibles, right? How much stress does this cause? How much extra time on my end does it cause to communicate with this, to figure out how to handle it, to come up with the options, the strategies, to talk to my property manager, to make the payments, to stress over it? Now, different people have different levels of stress tolerance. For me personally, this type of thing doesn't really bother me that much. It's a planned cost. I always plan for the worst and hope for the best. So I'm not sitting around frustrated at night, stuck up late, wondering, oh man, I can't sleep. What's going to happen? Is it going to be a pain? I don't let any of that stuff frustrate me because I plan for this type of thing before I ever even bought the first rental. I set aside money for this type of thing before the first rental. Now, does that mean that I'm happy about it? No, I'm not happy about it. I'd be much more happy if I'd gotten my $850 a month for 4 months in a row and my tenant was in there just enjoying his life and not getting himself arrested. That would make me happy. But this type of stuff, well, yeah, it does create a little extra stress. It does create a little extra bit of work. It doesn't bother me that much. But everybody's different. For you, this could be a deal breaker. This could have you up all night, every night, frustrated to no end, just unable to deal with it, unable to sleep. So if this type of thing just bothers you and makes your skin crawl, maybe being a landlord isn't for you. If you aren't as laid back as I am, potentially this is not the right job for you or the right investment for you. So now when we get down here, you can see the total. The total cost, the missed opportunity cost, the legal fees, the repairs, the maintenance, all of the labor, total cost, $5,994. And not all of that is tax deductible, as I mentioned earlier. Now remember, I actually have rental properties in a part of the country that is fair to landlords, where I didn't have to be on the hook for 6 months or a year or 2 years worth of eviction moratoriums. If somebody does something like this where they fail to pay, I can get them out relatively quickly. I knew on January 19th, and by March 8th, I had them out. So that's about a 7-week period for us to decide we're going to make the eviction and then get all the way through the entire process. Not that bad of a turnaround compared to a lot of places in the country where it's not 7 weeks, it's 7 months or a year or 2 years. Very frustrating for a lot of people out there. So keep that in mind. Now, at the end of the video, I do want to end on a somewhat optimistic note. I'm not in bad spirits. I'm not frustrated. I'm not bitter. I'm not angry. I bought a very valuable property under market value. It's going to rent for now $200 to maybe $250 more per month for that one side than I was already getting, which means I'll begin to recuperate my costs at a pretty quick pace. I'm actually happy about that. And instead of inheriting a tenant from somebody I bought the property from where I have issues, as I'm having right here, I get to pick and place my own tenant. And my property manager has always done a great job of finding me good tenants. So I'm happy for the opportunity. I'm going to take a positive note on this one, and I'm just going to move forward because I know that this type of thing could happen on day 1, and it could happen 4 years in like me with my first eviction, 8 units, 4 years, and I'm finally filing my first eviction right here, as you saw in the story. Guys, hopefully this video was beneficial and we broke down everything in an understandable way for you to see how much it really costs to go through an eviction, the text, the transparency behind it, how difficult it is, the strategies that you incorporate, the real costs and everything like that. If it was beneficial, leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you guys. Please go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel, share my stuff, help get the fake gurus and the fake course providers downvoted on the YouTube algorithm, and my stuff instead can get promoted up the YouTube algorithm. Appreciate you as always for watching. We'll catch you next time.